Israel needs us when Hamas and Iran are doing this. And I'll say this to Prime Minister Netanyahu, finish them. Finish them. Hamas did this. You know Iran's behind it. Finish them. They should have hell to pay for what they've just done.
This was an attack on America, she says, when in fact it was not. And for that reason, we must, quote, finish Iran, a nation of nearly 90 million people. What are we watching
not quote.
here? This is not sober
That's a paraphrase,
leadership.
a wrong paraphrase.
She's a child.
All she said is that Netanyahu should finish off Hamas, and he calls that bloodthirsty. Propagandistic nonsense here from Tucker.
What? That's not even what she said. She said finish Hamas and Iran. You saw the quote. You fucking played it.
Finish them. Hamas did this. You know Iran's behind it. Finish them.
But you don't have to look far in the United States for moral outrages also on video. And there's not a city in this country, not just the big cities, but cities of 10,000 people. I was in one yesterday. That doesn't have some constellation of drug-addicted young people living outside. We call them the homeless. They're drug addicts. And they're addicted to drugs that were imported across an
What's
open
that
border,
have to do with the
allowed by
price
the
of
Biden
tea in China?
administration.
I don't
They're
understand. As though America can't walk and chew gum, morally speaking, at the same time, which is absurd. And those two things are nothing alike. I'm sorry, that is not alike. It is not alike for drug smugglers to smuggle drugs over the border, which someone then takes and shoves into their arm and then they die of an overdose. That is not the same thing. I promise you, it is not the same thing as a terrorist breaking into your home and murdering your children in their beds in front of you and dragging your wife off to be raped in Gaza. That is not the same thing.
You wouldn't be taking this anti-nationalist position all of a sudden if the context was women are getting raped at the border of Mexico, and that's why they're fleeing over there. If this was Israeli hostages captured by Hamas, and they had a way to flee Hamas and come here, you would gladly take them as refugees. When the whole thing happens to Mexicans, you use that to say they shouldn't be allowed here. That's the point he's trying to make. Like, bro, how do you not get this? Your nationalism is selective while his isn't. That's really the core of your disagreement here.
What he's attempting to do is minimize what happened in Israel. He's not attempting to maximize what happened in the United States. He's attempting to minimize. I'm on the same side as Tucker on that. I just don't understand why he's not on my side when it comes to Hamas has to be wiped off the face of the earth.
Tucker isn't minimizing. He's taking an anti-war stance. And again, this is what happens in Mexico. And you're not for helping them. You're against nationalism only when it comes to your second homeland. That's where the disconnect comes from. He's a nationalist without selectivism. And what Hamas says, by the way, the Palestinian people don't stand by it either. Over 50% of Palestinians want a two-state solution.